Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business of Giving podcast. My name is Guy Dawson, and I am your host, and I am the executive director of the Cross Marketing Chamber of Commerce, an organization that brings businesses and nonprofit organizations together to build synergistic relationships that benefit the community. And this morning, I'm really thrilled to be interviewing a man who I've known for quite a while. His name is Sid Maestre, and he is with Spiritual Warrior Mentoring. And he has an incredible story that he wants to share about how he's giving back to others in the community and being successful in business through Spiritual Warrior Mentoring. Welcome to the show, Sid.
Glad to be here.
Will you tell us about what Spiritual Warrior Mentoring is? How did you get this started?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I found this little book, The Impersonal Life, a few years back, and I started reading it, and it's a message. It's a message from, quote, the I Am, the God presence within us. And I might stop for a moment and talk about the I Am, capital I Am. It goes back to Moses and the burning bush, where Moses is getting instructions for his people. And he asked the bush, "Who are you?" The reply is, "I am that I am." And you then ask, "Well, who should I say sent me?" Tell him, "I am sent you." And I use that little story as the God's name for itself to the children of Israel 3,500 years ago. And 3,500 years later, I find this little book, again, my little book, Personal Life, with a message from the I Am. And I knew coming into this for about 20 years, my knowledge of the I Am was it was the God presence within. And that's all I knew. I like to say that was an intellectual understanding, and there wasn't much there. But when I started reading this book, it just resonated with me and eventually evolved where I call using your spiritual ears. And that's being aware to your thinking. And I like to call it you're paying attention to your thinking and you're discerning your God thoughts. And with your discernment, you're trusting your discernment. And now we've got God thoughts. We trust them. It's time for action. And with faith and courage, I take the action I'm compelled to do without results for what's going to happen. And it just came to me recently. There's a good in everything. And we can say we like it, the results, and then we can say, gee, I don't like it. Well, if we step back and say, well, there was something there for me to learn. There's some lesson there. Otherwise, it wouldn't have shown up. So I sort of live with that. And getting back to the book, there's a meditative phrase that goes throughout the book. Be still and know I am God. And I was using that for a while. And then all of a sudden, I like to say, the little voice said, that might be in the Bible. I said, great. So I look it up. It turns out, well, Google knows everything. And it's Psalm 46:10. Be still and know I'm God. And I thought, oh, now I can quote scripture. Do you want to hear more? Or do you have a question?
Well, yeah, there's plenty that I definitely want to hear. And so the application of these principles, obviously you're quoting from the Bible. So there's a heavy spiritual aspect to everything that you're doing, and the application with people. How are you helping people, or who are you helping specifically with the application of these principles to help them live a better life?
Well, I'll go back to my little card here. Can we read it?
Yes.
Oops. Spiritual warrior, raising consciousness wherever I am. And that came to me early on studying the book, where again, I'm in a seminar taking notes, and all of a sudden the thought, I am a spiritual warrior. where I'd never had that thought before. So I wrote it down. And a couple months later, I was thinking, I need a card, not a business card, but I need a card of who I am. And that's how I created the Spiritual Warrior, raising consciousness wherever I am. And that's my mission in life, is sharing that awareness throughout the world. And with that awareness, people are able to, I would say, pay attention to their thinking. And one of the things I developed was I called the intentional meditation. And that follows where there's something you're working on. And when I was developing the Spiritual Warrior mentoring, I didn't know what I was going to teach. So I started using the intentional meditation, which goes like, be still and know I'm God. Please give me clarity, guidance, and understanding of Spiritual Warrior mentoring. Thank you, God, and so I am. And that was the mantra I was using. And I've been using that for a number of months. And the amazing thing of once that intention, which through repetition, I was using it every day, I started getting ideas. And I have to say, for the last 6 weeks, I've been writing 3 or 4 pages every morning related to Spiritual Warrior mentoring. And I've never written like that in my life. In fact, I felt I was poor at English. I was good in math, but English wasn't my forte. And the I am proved me wrong. With all I had to do was start a sentence, and then they would just flow. So to bring this, I want to say the intentional meditation is something that everybody can use. Whatever they're seeking, whatever problem, they're looking for a solution. They have uncertainty. I've been using this intentional meditation for a couple years, and I always get an answer. And when I say getting an answer, an idea will come to me. And often it's a thought that I've already had, but I wasn't doing anything with it. But when it shows up in the intentional meditation, now I'm taking a closer look at it and seeing it as guidance, clarity, guidance, and understanding to take action. And to be able to bring it into my everyday life, just my thinking, and then working with people and discovering their goals, helping them reach them, coming from a spiritual place. And I mentioned to you before we started, and being the cause chamber, working with nonprofits, with businesses. And we have all heard to do, be, and have. Well, I've heard that all my life. And all of a sudden, I've started working with the I am principles. And I realize the fourth one is giving. When we have success on whether we're do, be, and having, it's like I'm compelled. If we take a look at it, we're here on the planet to serve, to share, to help others.
That's a lot of powerful statements that you made there. And when you talked about having specific disciplines that you use in order to stay connected or to work on your thinking. Yeah, I know early on when you were just speaking, you were talking a lot about altering your thinking. And for those out there who might not understand the concept of reshaping your thinking, I feel most people we realize we're thinking all day long. And I think there are a lot of people out there who don't know the amount of control that they have over their thinking. And so can you talk about that how the application of these principles can truly help them to reshape the way that they think, so that they think in a way that benefits them?
Well, one thing I would say is creating conscious thinking. Most of our thinking is related to the everyday, I must say the small voice, dealing with everyday activities. And with what I've been studying, I'm spending more time, I want to say, capturing new thoughts and recognizing them and changing the way we think. This is one of the exercises that I must have created. I like to say I was guided to do. And I can go back to, I would say, to block or not continuing thoughts, negative thoughts. And it goes back to 9/11. after 9/11, for who knows whether it was a year or more, I was really focused on the Iraq, Afghanistan, all that was going on over there. And there were negative thoughts. And I trained myself not to complete a thought. And I didn't know any of this, what we're talking about, but that was an experiment, not an experiment. That's something I experienced. And maybe it was a year and a half, and I wasn't so focused on that. Then we come up to the present time. And I did this in this past year, last couple of years. We had a lot going on in this country, from the COVID and the George Floyd murder, and then the presidential election, which I call contentious. And all my thoughts on those areas were negative. They weren't supportive. And so when I would see things or hear things, and I was doing a blockout, no TV, no radio, no discussion, no reading, nothing related to those three issues or anything else that was happening. And within 6 months, I wasn't paying attention to those. I was hitting the highlights, but I wasn't dwelling into them and adding my opinion to myself, talking about them. And I've been more productive. I'm spending more time, I want to say, positively thinking related to the spiritual teaching, the I am, and wanting to share these with everybody. But here's not the last thing, but this is something that's very powerful that came to me. And I created the Healing Earth meditation. And that was to bring everything into alignment, everything on the earth, everything in the earth, humans, animals, vegetation, even the earth. The earth is a living entity, and connecting with that with meditations, mantras that I teach. And it also is to bring in alignment natural disasters, whether it's hurricanes, earthquakes, forest fires. There's so many things that we call natural disasters. Well, I believe if we're all in alignment, we're in alignment with the earth, we're in alignment with the animals, we're very aware with the environmental global warming issue. And I have a new thought on that. My thought was, well, we're not going to make a difference. Well, not now, we're not making a difference, but we're raising our awareness about it. And we're bringing up a new generation. I'm having chill just discussing this, that 20 years from now, we're going to have just a new generation that is so conscious and will function in being ecologically aware of what's not healthy for the planet.
Wow, that's a mouthful. That's really there's some interesting perspectives, Sid, about the thinking and consciousness. And one thing I know is that you're an avid student of the teachings of Bob Proctor. And will you share with us how you started studying Bob Proctor and how he has influenced the development of the spiritual warrior?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wasn't thinking of Bob, but it was 7 years ago this month that I went to one of his seminars, and I was hearing things I never thought of before, didn't know. And his program that I'm working with is called Thinking in the Results. And I'm going to say that's in the physical realm. There's thinking, but it's dealing with what's going on outside. And to match up my spiritual thinking is to bring spirituality into people's lives, applying it to what they're learning in getting their goals with the Thinking and the Results program. So I've got matching up, and I actually, for an individual spiritual wise, I have the program for spiritual warrior mentoring. When I combine it with with Bob's teaching, and I use the term, it's spiritual warrior team building, getting people to work together to get on the same page. And I want to say coming from this spiritual awareness, letting go of the ego and being able to look at the big picture. So I have another thought. Today is day 6,980. I have 6,980 days till I'm 100 years old, and I want to make a difference every day. And what I'm teaching, you could call it my legacy, to be teaching this and attract other people that are committed to what I am, to share the I am consciousness with the world.
Wow. So you're counting the days until you're 100 years old.
Yeah.
That's just fascinating. I've never actually heard anyone talk about that before, and actually counting how many days they have until they're 100 years old, and to have that type of confidence in the fact that you're going to make it and that you're going to keep working all the way until that time. It's what drives that. What makes you want to continue to work until you're 100 years old?
To put it really simple, the idea came to me. When I had that idea, I got to thinking about it, and I have on my website is spiritualwarriormentoring.com. And I got three main things on that page. One is the I am teaching. One is the Healing Earth meditation. The meditation is there, as well as the script where you can record it in your own voice and listen to it. And what's your number is the third component. And you click on what's your number, and you put your birth date, the year you were born, date, month, date, and year, and going from the day that you're doing it, and click the button, and there you know how many days you have left. And I'm so glad, Guy, I'm so glad to be here. This is my first opportunity to kind of give the big picture of what I'm doing and what I'm sharing with the world. And it's exciting.
Yeah, very interesting information. And so for the people out there who might be interested in working with you, who are you targeting with these teachings? What type of a person would benefit the most from the teachings of spiritual warrior mentoring?
Well, one of the affirmations I wrote yesterday is, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and that's a phrase that Bob Proctor teaches. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am open to all possibilities. I'm thinking, well, I'm looking for people that are open to possibilities, that want to learn more on the spiritual side. People that have an awareness, and this is another perspective of the God presence within, and to work with, I want to say, companies, having the Thinking Results program, spiritual warrior team building within a company. I was talking about the earth getting aligned, but we can bring it down to in companies working together, everybody's going in the same direction. And then the beautiful part about this teaching is perfect for the family, and it's perfect for raising within a family and raising the children. And it's about, what do you want in life? What are your goals? This teaching can help people define their goals, get real clear about it, and have the confidence to pursue them.
And how about people out there who may say, I'm not very spiritually driven, this isn't really what I'm about? You know, there are, of course, people out there who are very much into spirituality, and there are others who are not. How could a person like that benefit from your teachings?
Well, I want to say that they can, do we say by osmosis, hang organically, people that they're working with, people when they're ready, it will resonate with them, And I like to say the I am presence will come into their conscious mind for them to pursue it. So I could say I want to help people, but people will show up that it resonates with. And then they'll learn what they learn. Everybody has a different perspective. Everybody has a different reaction. Everybody has different thoughts. And my programs help people, I want to say, not just organize them, but to recognize them. And as I said, have the faith and courage to take the action you're compelled to do. And fearlessly. Everybody might say, you don't know what you're talking about. Or the example is the Wright brothers. They worked in a bicycle shop, but they had this vision of flying, and everybody thought they were nuts. And then you had Edmund Hillary wanted to climb the Mount Everest, which for years people have been trying, dying. And it took him 3 different years to go back because he was committed. That's what he wanted. And he was the first guy on the top of Mount Everest. Oh, there's another thought on Marconi, who invented the wireless, wireless telegraph, that communicating without directly with wires. His friends had him committed for evaluation in a mental hospital because they didn't believe it. We can go back to Galileo. At that time, everyone thought the Earth was the center of the universe. When he was presenting, no, we're not the center of the universe. The Pope put him in house arrest because that was against the common thought. The same with Columbus. You can't sail around the world. You're going to fall off the cliff of the ocean. And that's what everybody thought till he did it.
Yeah, so many things that human beings once believed we know are not true, and it's I guess a part of our evolution. And so you as a spiritual warrior, and the theme of this show, Sid, is it's called The Business of Giving. So we're all about showing the importance of contribution, both as a business person and as a nonprofit organization. And how can your business, the thing that you're creating here, have an impact on the overall giving that we participate in as people and cohabitants on this planet?
My first thought, and I don't remember if I mentioned it early in this interview, but it's the concept of do, be, and have. Most of my life, those were the three things. Then I met Bob Proctor and what support he was giving, in particular the Unstoppable Foundation, which started off helping build schools in Kenya. And that's expanded into other areas of nutrition, medical, water, small businesses. And so I've been supporting that for about 7 years. But here's I learned this years ago, back to going to church, was the 3 T's. And one is to support, let's say support your church, is you can do it with time as a volunteer, with your talent, and with your treasure. And I believe treasure comes third. When you're a volunteer and when you're showing your talent, you've got boots on the ground. And that's just something that, just those 3 T's on anything that you support that comes to mind. That, I want to support that. I have 7 different entities that I support. That over the years, something comes to my attention. I support that. I like that. And it's, I did not do this. I did not do this till I started reading The Impersonal Life and working with Bob Proctor.
Well, your concepts are very interesting, Sid, and it was a pleasure to hear you talk about how you're helping people as a spiritual warrior through mentoring, being able to benefit people on a spiritual level to succeed at whatever it is that they want to succeed in life, and we want to let the audience out there know how they can get in contact with you if they'd like mentoring, if they'd like to learn more about your business.
Well, on the website, Spiritual Warrior Mentoring, they can book a session, what I call a discovery session, conversation, where they're at, where they want to go. And the email address is spiritualwarriormentoring@gmail.com.
Outstanding. Well,
Yeah.
Sid Maestre, he is with Spiritual Warrior Mentoring. A great story to tell about how to change your thinking and benefit other people in many ways. And again, thanks for stopping by and being a part of our show today, Sid.
Well, Guy, this has just been, I like the word joy. This really made me happy when you invited me. And all week long, I could hardly wait till this morning. I got up at 5 o'clock because this is 7 o'clock in Las Vegas. And I like to say, quivering with eager anticipation. And again, I thank you.
All right. Thanks again, Sid. And we hope that all of you experience joy learning more about Spiritual Warrior Mentoring, Sid Maestre's company. We hope you get in contact with him if you'd like help in business or in your personal life. And we at the Cause Marketing Chamber of Commerce are committed to bringing businesses and nonprofit organizations together, as I had mentioned before, for synergistic relationships that benefit the community. If you're interested in learning about being a member of the Cause Marketing Chamber of Commerce, please visit our website, causemarketingchamber.com. There are lots of events that we host on a regular basis, both online and in person, that connect you with like-minded people who are interested in the platform that we are developing with our 501c6 organization. And also follow us on all our social media sites here at Facebook, also on YouTube, The Business of Giving Show, as well as Instagram and other social media platforms. Look forward to seeing you soon for the next edition of The Business of Giving Show. Enjoy your day. Joy, joy, joy.